All right, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to the beginning of the week. My name's Stuart Davis, flawed man of God. I'm a deacon at a small church just outside of Richmond, Virginia. Not a pastor, not a biblical scholar, haven't been to seminary. Not trying to get you to join my church or donate to any special cause. What I'm here to do is talk about God, talk about Jesus, talk about the Holy Spirit, talk about the Bible, talk about Christianity, talk about a wide variety of different topics, issues, current events, and give you my perspective of them, one that I think is reflective of your average Christian guy. I've been a Christian all my life, 40 years non-denominational Protestant. I don't subscribe to any particular doctrine or denomination. I'm just in the Word daily, trying to do it better each and every day. And sometimes I'll get it right. Many times I'll get it wrong. But either way, you're going to get an honest take from me when I'm streaming, whenever I can, which is weeknights usually. So if you're somebody who is interested in learning more about God, if you think that there is worried if there's more to I missed this part of the intro, guys. Let me back that up. If you're looking for more meaning in life, if there is some part of you that is worried or wondering if there's more to your existence than just your life here on earth, if you're searching for answers, if you feel lost, if you feel depressed, if just nothing makes sense to you and you're looking for something to make sense of it, welcome to the show. Hopefully I can give you some sort of boost, point you in the right direction, give you some influence on what Christianity is all about, what it's like, kind of people you may meet. The way I want you to see this is as somebody who is going to be sitting in a pew next to you, just discussing the word with you and trying to make sense of it myself. There's a lot of stuff about church. There's a lot of things in general that people get wrong, that are folks don't understand. We're not shouldn't be stuck up folks who are just going to church because it's some sort of social club, some means to look down on other people, some way to gossip and feel superior to other folks. That's not what church is about. You go to church and you find a church that's good body. You find it one that's fundamentally obeying Scripture and searching for that, and then the congregation is supportive of you. They are a place of friendly people who are open and welcoming, but also willing to hold you accountable when you screw up. It's people you can count on for you, not just to tell you it's okay, that everything you're doing is fine, but to tell you perhaps it's not. Who are willing to educate you and who are willing to listen as well. And hopefully you can get involved in that and not just be somebody that is counting on their church, but somebody that the church can count on as well. There's a lot more to it than that, and far more than I am knowledgeable enough or talented enough to convey to you. But what we're going to talk about here is about Christianity in general. But please, if you've got any questions, if you're looking for any insights, please participate in the chat, and I'd love to hear what you have to say. If you're already a Christian and you just enjoy Christian discussions and topics, welcome as well. Glad to have you here. You'll find we run this very similar to a Wednesday night study group or a Sunday school. It's very casual, very relaxed, laid back. We're not here trying to, put on airs or anything, but we want to get to know you better and get your feedback. So again, chat's there. Participate in it. Maybe you've got some experiences or knowledge. Maybe you got some insights. Maybe you think my take on it is all wrong. Maybe you think it's right. But whatever it is, you've probably got something that can add to the content here, add to the value that other folks will get out of it. I love this chat. I love the community that he built here. Small as it is, it's full of folks who are great to have on board. So with that said, let's get to the show proper. I almost streamed last night, and I was going to stream with this topic. However, everything got messed up. Started off, yesterday was a pretty good day, getting work done, it's Monday, cleaning up some stuff that happens over the weekend. That's, just part of the grind. But, softball was happening, and we had some families in visiting the new baby. We had some storms possibly coming in, but look, you coach a softball team in a church league. One of the important things is having a full roster. And we actually had all of that. And I had everything set. And we were going to play late games. And I thought maybe I might get on at 6:30 or so and stream and just do a surprise early stream and talk about Father's Day. And then I was kind of just relaxed. And I was like, I'm just going to chill. And then I get a text from the other team, his coach, and he's like, hey, guys, are y'all going to have enough players to make the game? And this is at 6:31. This is when the early games start. And I thought he was asking because the last week we had a makeup game on Tuesday, and we just didn't have anybody who could make it. And so I was getting ready to respond to him. I was like, maybe let me check the schedule, make sure we're even still playing these guys. And so I looked up and I saw that the way that the schedule was done, we were right in the middle. And instead of putting the matchup and then what time and what place, they had the place and the time above the team kind of separated. So I screwed up. And so I had to scramble at that point. We were already going to miss the first game because none of my teammates were good with it. But everybody put it together. We had one guy who couldn't make it, but we had an extra whatever. And so we ended up getting to play, showed up. We were still one guy short. They let us borrow a catcher until our extra guy showed up, and it was great. We won the game. We forfeited the first game, so they won that, but we won the second game. It was a great time. Guys at the other church, really glad for them sticking around. They could have just gone home and enjoyed their evening, but they came out, they wanted to play, and they did us a solid for staying. So that was good. Friday night, I didn't stream, and I didn't really give an announcement. And the reason was I had my newborn on top of my chest, and I had my phone in the other room charging up. So I was going to send an update to the Discord to let you guys know. I was like, baby's asleep on me. It's something that's a time that I cherish. It's something that you don't get but for so long is the kid small enough to really just sit there, and then she's quiet enough to sleep on you. So I was going to stay there as long as she was asleep, which ended up being the entire baseball game me and my father-in-law were watching, which wasn't the most comfortable position. I was consistently shifting, but she stayed there. She was asleep, and it's peaceful, folks. And going into the Father's Day weekend, I couldn't have thought of a better way to spend it. So welcome everybody to the show. Nernaeth is last. Yex is here. What's going on, sir? Dresden's here. Nernaeth said, not a Friday, but it is Audie Murphy's birthday, one of the most highly decorated World War II soldier with commendations for valor from every World War II Army power. Audie Murphy, national treasure. I'm a big fan of him. Obviously, I served in the Army. Audie Murphy's a big deal for everything we do. And that was a gentleman who went through a lot, endured a lot. A little bit of his fame went to his head, and he did struggle with battle fatigue. However, we can't, the unimaginable situation that he found himself in, serving his country and what he did, it was such a service to our nation at the time. And everybody's got their thoughts on look at the nation that we've become. At the time, clearly we're in a perfect country, but we were a free one, and we were one that was struggling to do the right thing. So, Yex, I took my aunt to church on Sunday. She adored the service and prayers. She felt welcomed by the people, and she felt God was there in a very real sense. Was awesome. Folks, if y'all don't know this about Yex, Yex is Orthodox. I follow him on Twitter. He is a younger gentleman with a with a big heart, and I just enjoy reading kind of how he navigates life. But he has been reaching out hard for his family to introduce him to the Orthodox brand of Christianity, which I think is which guys, you've heard me talk about it. I have really no issue with Orthodox, with really the denomination in general. But what you'll normally find is Orthodox has done the best job, I think, gatekeeping the faith from modernists coming in. And if any of you guys are thinking of joining an Orthodox church, I will be highly encouraging of it. You can talk to Yex, you can talk to Thaddeus Patrick, who's a friend of this show. There are good resources out there for folks who are interested in learning more about the Orthodoxy. The funny thing is the lead elder at our church now. His mom is Greek. She grew up in the Greek Orthodox Church, and his daughter has been very interested in. His daughter's been very interested in going to Orthodox services. So we'll see where that leads. She's a young gal, and she's a great. I taught her when I was teaching middle school Sunday school. She's a great personality, and it's always good to see somebody grow, mature in their faith, and look at other mature doctrines and such, and see where that might fit in with her. But I mean, it is quite a different experience going from what she is used to and what I have is which is non-denominational. It's very what's the word? It is a lot more relaxed service that you'll see in like a non-denominational, though we're not the big evangelical Hillsongy laser show. You come in and there's a Starbucks in there, and the pastor comes out in jeans and a shirt that's too tight and a microphone on his thing, and he's like, yeah, that's not going on. But but just a relaxed, more casual sermon and whatnot versus the Orthodoxy, which is there's a lot more formality, there's a lot more weight, I think, to those services. I haven't actually been to one. I've seen them, and there you go. Thaddeus is wonderful. Thaddeus is awesome. I really need to get him back on the show. I haven't reached out, but we talk a fair amount. And there you go. You are missing the most important aspect of the story. What is that, Nernath? Our resident ombudsman. Bro, you got to go to one. I probably will. I'll probably go to more than one, just to give it the fair treatment, because you never want to go to just one, right? Because you might get the best service that you'll ever get at that particular church, or you might get the worst. You go to a couple and you get a little bit of a better feel for what's going on. Not to say that the wrong message is preached, but sometimes your pastor or your preacher or priest or whatever, some mornings he's eating his Wheaties, right? And you can tell he comes in there with she's a high schooler, Nernath. She's a high schooler. She's like a freshman. Come on, guys. Come on, Nernath. Emmanuel Osorio, hello, everyone. Just wanted to pop on real quick. Gonna haul for the whole night tonight. Pray that it's a safe trip. Always praying for a safe trip. Want to give support to your brother. God bless you guys and stay safe. God bless us, everyone. So Hopefully, if you don't catch this on the replay and you're catching this live, Emmanuel, stay safe. Let's talk about Father's Day. All right. Let's talk about Father's Day. To me, Father's Day is a good time to honor fathers in general. My dad, I have an immense amount of love and affection for my father. Love a bunch of a great deal of affinity for him. He's not a perfect person by any means. He has definitely had his flaws, and he has his redeeming qualities. And I think that one of the things that you start to respect once you start become a father is how much you are navigating, or a parent in general, but you are navigating waters that you are unsure about. That's not to say that you don't have that you can't swim, or that you're not good at swimming, but you're not necessarily sure everything you're doing is correct, or that you're heading in the right direction. There's a lot of uncertainty. And I think about my dad when I was born, and how old my dad was throughout my life. I was very similar. My son, oddly enough, we are almost exactly 30 years difference in age, which is around the same time my dad was when I was born. And so I have to, when I put things into perspective, I look through the lens of my son, and how much of my act was together, and did my dad have his act together? My dad was by the time I was 3 years old, my dad was an established local politician. He was a manager at a very large company that was doing a lot of cool stuff at the Department of Defense. I mean, career-wise and community-wise, he's very well known and very honest, which doesn't help when you're a politician. And actually, that was to his undoing, that he was honest and uncompromising in his principles. That didn't jive well with the local folks. But I grew up with a strong moral compass and a strong set of values, because that stuff was instilled to me by both of my parents. But as a son, as a boy, as a young boy, you look to your dad as kind of who to emulate, because that's where ultimately you're going to be. I'm not going to be a mom. I'm not going to be my mom. I'm not to take anything away from what she taught me, but she's an example in some aspects. But my dad was an example in a lot of aspects. As I got older, and you realize that your dad's not perfect. You realize that your dad has his flaws and his drawbacks, his weaknesses, the things that he's not strong in, ways that maybe he could do better. There was strife. My family, and I think I've talked about it before, is highly argumentative. I get it from both sides. My dad's an argumentative person. My mom's an argumentative person. Me and my brother are argumentative people. If you've seen me on Twitter, you've seen this in action. And my wife is argumentative. So this is just the doom cycle. But there was a strife presented itself in argumentative outbursts. We all wear our emotions on our sleeves, and I kind of grew comfortable with that, whereas I don't think my dad ever really has been. He likes to be more stoic. He likes to feel more like he likes to be more even in things, where I kind of embraced it. And I feel like that's helped me as I've calmed down, as I've matured, helped me be a more, not to say that my dad comes across as dishonest, it doesn't. But I think for me, it's helped me come across as more genuine and open for people. And people like to, and people oftentimes enjoy talking to me because that they know that I'm going to listen, and they're going to get an honest reaction out of me. I have very difficult time containing my opinions and feelings on something. That doesn't make for a very stable household when you have one teenager and then two teenagers in there, and everybody likes to argue with each other. So there was a lot of that. And things have evolved past that. And it's taken a long time. Crap. Thanks, MR. Where are the rest of you guys not telling me about this? I'm back on my old computer, my new computer. I'm back on my new computer. Heck on it. You're right. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello. Boom, boom, boom. Does that sound better? Does this sound better, MR? Let me know. Switch audio to your mic. But welcome, MR. Welcome, Blaine. Thank you. Thank you for that. It was my jank. I just assumed it was my jank backup phone. All right, so now that we've got that fixed, sorry about that, guys. I should have checked that out. Trying to get to the point where, and it's still an effort to, for me to feel like I'm doing things to win approval. But what my dad, what I never doubted was that my dad cared about me. What I never doubted was that my dad was there to, if I needed him to be there, he would be there. He's looked out for us. He has been there, and he has got a wealth of knowledge. The man built his own house. He built his own house in his 20s. In his early 20s. And they still live in that house. And it is a nice house. I mean, it's not like it's not like this super fancy house. It doesn't have all these bells and whistles, but it's a nice house. He knows a lot about a lot of things, and he is always willing to share that information. Sometimes the difficulty is getting some practice in, because he wants to do it. But what I took away from that when my son was born, when I was thinking about being a dad, when I was contemplating being one for the first time, and what I've done in practice is taken everything that I know that he did, that I thought worked well for me. And you got to be honest about this. What did your dad? And if you've got a close relationship with your dad, if your dad did well with you, if you just have a good relationship with him, be honest. What did you think he did that helped you? And what did you think he did that maybe held you back a little bit? Those things exist. Those things happen. And so there were things I had specifically that I needed to make sure I emulated, and things that I needed to make sure that I avoided. And maybe my combination has been, maybe my combination has worked, or maybe it won't. But it's the way I'm doing it, and I feel like I've got a good balance, and I think that I'm doing my best. Now, I yelled at my kids this morning or this afternoon, taking them to vacation Bible school, because they weren't listening, and I hate doing that. But sometimes a kid just needs to be taken out of their comfort zone to get them to pay attention. So there's also I wish your dad taught you about spoilers, Blaine. Um, the so there's the honor for your dad, but when you are a dad, to me, Father's Day. What's going on, Mr. Felty? Father's Day is not something where I feel like I need to be honored, something that I need where I need a card, sometime where I need a present. That's not that's not what I like about Father's Day. What I like about Father's Day for me is enjoying the moment and taking time out for a day to appreciate the fact that I've been blessed with children, that I've been blessed with a great family, with great family, with great just just a great things in life. And I'm trying to work best to put my kids in a great situation the same way that my dad worked his tail off to put me and my brother in a great situation. And it feels weird to me because I can look at that and I'm actually the middle son for my dad. I have a half brother. I haven't seen him since I was 4 or 5 years old. And he lives somewhere in town. This isn't a big town by any means. It's not actually a town, it's just an area. But I haven't seen him. I wouldn't recognize, and maybe I have seen him. I wouldn't recognize him if I passed him in the grocery store. I wouldn't recognize him if I had a conversation with him. I would know his name. I would be curious. Don't know anything about him. Um, there was a parent that my dad got married very young, had a child very young, and um, uh, there was a divorce. Dad always made sure he was supporting him financially, but I think that there may have been one of those instances where the mom is trying to make sure, out of for whatever reason, up hurt feelings, just upset or insecurity that the son will latch on to the father. I don't know, but to basically tell him that his dad's a piece of crap and whatever. So there's always been, but he he didn't just exit my life, he exited my dad's life as well. So he missed out on a lot of stuff. And I don't know what their dynamic was. He is 8, 9 years older than me, I think. But it was it's always been an oddity for me. And there's always seemed to me like there's a lot of resentment. The last time my dad was running for political office, um, there was a guy who showed up to one of the polls, and he was talking about he matched the description of my brother. I wasn't there for this, and he was talking about how bad of a guy he was, of a guy my dad was, and you know that was 12 years since we'd last had anything to do with him, probably at that point. So I don't understand. I don't understand. And he was pretty young for when all this stuff went down. And there's been no attempt to reach out to me. There's been no attempt for anything. So um, all I can speak for is for my all I can speak for is for my experiences. And there's been times, obviously, that I've been mad at my dad, that I've disagreed with him, that I've um, felt like I've known more about him, know more than him at a young age, and I worry about that having those conflicts with my son because he's so much like me. Don't know how that will go, but right now, at least in my life, it's a good season for me to be a dad. And if I can't be thankful to God for being blessed in this way, then I don't deserve it at all. I don't deserve it to begin with, but I definitely don't deserve it if I can't be thankful for it. If I can't point to who is responsible for that. I've said it many times, and I'm never going to shut up about it. Being a dad, being a parent, but especially for me, being a dad has put so much of the Bible in better perspective for me because I see more through the eyes of someone who has life that he has created and why he cares and that feeling of love. And if it's just if this is a fraction of the the feelings that God has for us, then it explains how patient he's been for us. And it's not anything for what that we've deserved or earned. It's just the capacity for love. And we have a lot that rides on our shoulders as men, as fathers. It's there's a lot of weight and stress that we put on ourselves, that our family puts on ourselves, sometimes intentionally, sometimes unintentionally. They don't realize that they do it. Um, never, never lose that capacity for love, though, because it is poured out in spades for us when we're at our best and when we're at our worst. And it's important to remember that. Blaine said, my dad worked at Boeing. I know more aerodynamics than 99%. It's just that 1%, like me, who knows that you're full of it, and your spoilers. My father was gone working a whole lot, but there to slap me if I wandered too far. When he was there, I had 100% attention. He pointed me to a whole bunch of good role models that shaped my character. It's interesting to see that relation change over time, and now I get to help him out, and he asked me for my opinion and advice on things. It's strange if I think about it too much. That is so I'm gonna go off. I'm gonna get off on a tangent about here because it's Father's Day related. So a few years ago, my son was turning 7, and I was having a crisis of sorts. And the crisis was more that too much time was flying for me. It was going by too fast. Now my son's my oldest, so he's a lot of times he's my landmark and my touchstone when it comes to being a parent because he's been there obviously through the whole parental process from day one. And he was turning 7. I'm like, good night. I was like, this has flown by. If I as fast as this has been, the next 7 years are going to go by and he's going to be a teenager. And then he's going to be ready to um go to start learning how to drive. And once they get a car, they're gone. Time was going by too fast. And so I reached out to my then pastor, who's a great guy, who has been through the gamut of he has fought his demons, he has slayed many of his dragons, and he was a great person to reach out to about it. So I'm sitting there and I'm a little emotional. I'm blubbering, guys. I'm not gonna. There's nothing. If you can't open up to your pastor, maybe your past either you've got something that you need to fix, or maybe your pastor needs to fix something. So I'm blubbering about it a little bit, and he said, "Look," and both of his kids are fully grown, got got a ton of kids. He's got a ton of grandkids. Both of them are in the service. One's in the Marines, one's in the Army, and do very very different roles. But he tells me, he goes, "I know how you feel, and it's bittersweet, but what you'll find is you'll enjoy every step of the way. And I enjoy my time with my kids now just as much, if not more, than I did when they were growing up. And I can't say that I disagree with that. I hear people say, "Oh, I love the kids at that age. I love them at." I've loved them at every age, right? For the last almost 10 years now, almost 10 years, it has been a whirlwind of great emotions. Even when I'm yelling at my son and I'm frustrated with him on the ride to VBS this evening, it's still the best moment. It's still one of the best moments of my life. I hate doing it, but I love the fact that he's there and that my daughter is behind and they're learning, hopefully, but they care enough to listen. And um, it is weird. And I imagine one day that I hope, because, you know, I've seen enough parents, one of them being my uncle, who's had to do it twice, but I've seen enough parents have to bury their kids that I just the fear never, the worry, the anxiety about it never ends. And not just for their physical safety, but their spiritual safety. Spiritual safety. It's a never-ending process. But hopefully, my son gets to be my age. Hopefully my kids will maybe watch these videos and hey, look at what a dork my dad was. Wish the chat had made him cooler. But just talking, sitting down, watching a baseball game, and just watching my grandkids or whatever, and just having a good time, and praising God together. Right. That's strange to think about, but that's things that I take parenting one day at a time. Like there's a lot of worry and a lot of planning for things, but I try to live in every day and make the most of every day as a dad, as a parent. And that kind of helps slow things down, but not that much. Yex says, I fear being a dad. I love kids and I definitely want to be a dad, but I'm so childish and lazy. Well, Yex. Um, like I said, one thing that I feel like that is very clear just watching you is is that you've got a big heart. And that's a good thing. That's a great component to have to being a father. Um, so I want to say it kind of like how, and I don't know if you ride or not, but kind of like getting on a motorcycle. It's not that you need to be afraid of the bike. You need to respect it. You need to respect um you need to respect it enough to know that it can kill you or hurt you, but not fear it to the point so that you don't enjoy the ride. You need to respect the weight and responsibility that comes on being a dad and know the expectations, but don't fear it to the point where you are not that you are just a ball of stress. Stress kills men so easily. We drop like flies when you get to be starting around my age. Um, we can put so much on ourselves that we don't end up being the men that we could be and the examples we could be to our kids. And we don't enjoy and appreciate and cherish fatherhood. Respect it and be there. And don't let um just be there. Just be there. And remember, we are the guide the by a wide margin the guiding force for families to get involved in church and have a relationship with God. I think you pay attention to that. So, MR says, not half the man my dad was. Newark firefighter and role model. Hey, man, tis what it is, right? You don't know that your story is still being written. And maybe you just haven't had the opportunities to be the man. But it's not a competition either. And I'm not saying that you're assuming that it is, but your goal is to just be good. Do the right thing. Be the best you can be. Be a better Christian every day you go in. You approach it and just build off of that. Build off of that. Don't let the down days keep you down. Let the good days roll into the next day and build on good momentum. Blaine says, saw a meme that the average person has 8 cars in their lifetimes. Let's just say I'm bringing up that average. Learn to hold a flashlight at a young age. Let's see. We were talking about this on your stream not too long ago. Hang on a second. Let me do something real quick. My dad bought me a Jeep CJ7 when I was 13 years old. We worked on it so that it was and it was an old truck, an old Jeep that had been left outside, no top on it. I mean, it's rusted through. And we worked on it and I drove it in high school. And I love that thing. We still have it. It's sitting on blocks now. It needs a full body off restoration. I want to do a resto mod with it with my son. Where else? Um Then I bought a Wrangler. Then I had the Subaru. I had two bikes, so that's 5. Traded the Subaru in for a Mustang. Bought a Dodge Nitro, first car me and my wife bought together. Sold the Mustang. Got a Dodge Magnum. Where did we go after that? Got another motorcycle. Got the Elantra that we had. Got a pickup truck when I sold the motorcycle. Got my Ramp, my 1500 Rebel. Then wife got an Accord, then a minivan, and now the Stinger. So I'm at 14 now. 14 right now. Renee said, I hear you, MR made way more mistakes than my father did. And MR saying, I like that. No competition. It's not a competition. Is your dad proud of you? Or look at it. It's tough and it's dangerous to say this, but how do you think God is looking down on you? And it should always be with a breath of humility. But what is he? Who is he going to see? Is he going to see a man trying, a man struggling, but trying earnestly? We are held to a high standard, or actually, no, we are asked to meet a high standard. But we are given grace to fall short of that. In many ways, we make Father's Day about us, but we could and maybe should view it to honor the greatest father of all time, which is God. what he's shown us as an example. What he's shown us as an example, what he's given us, what he's blessed us with, what he's challenged us with, and his capacity for love are all things that we need to remember we need to emulate and honor. Amar says, I like to think he's proud. He passed right around when I turned myself around, so I think he's helped me along my path. I think that he would be happy, Amar, but I don't know. Don't know your situation. I hope you're in a place where he would be happy and proud. But you're doing well seeking out the Lord and trying to better yourself and be in a better space. So, if I'm looking at my son, I'm kind of the father. Me as a father, I would love my son to be a better man than me. I would love my daughter to both of my daughters now. I'm still getting used to that. Both of my daughters to look for a man who is better than me. But my baseline goals is for them to grow up and be good people that do the right thing and that love and honor and seek out God wherever they land in life. And if they do that, I'm fine. They don't have to be a rocket scientist. They don't have to be middle class white picket fence or anything. I want them to live the American dream, but I want them going to heaven more than anything else that I could imagine in my life. I want my kids going to heaven. That is a deep desire, and I don't think any Christian parent should think anything any other way. And that we need to help. If we can't help our own family make it there, I don't know how we help anybody else. So for Father's Day, hug my kids. I tell them thank you for being the 3. Of course, my daughter can't understand it, but I tell them thank you for being the 3 greatest Father's Day presents I could have ever asked for. The only Father's Day presents to me, but they did. Daughter made me this thing. Happy Father's Day. I got tickets to the Reds and Orioles game in Baltimore next week. We are not going on Pride. We are not going on Pride night, which is the night before or the night after we go. We will not be going during Pride night. And so it'll be me and my son and daughter, who both have Reds jerseys to wear. I've got a Reds jersey to wear. My father-in-law will be coming with us. He is an Orioles fan. And it's a hard team not to like. The Orioles are a great team. So, and Camden Yards say what you want about Baltimore, and most of the negging is correct. But Camden Yards is a good ballpark. Good looking ballpark, and the food is good because you're right there at the bay. You're getting all that Chesapeake Bay seafood, and it's some of the best in the country. And my wife obviously is coming because she does not miss out on baseball games. So the youngest will be getting taken care of, and we will be out on the we'll be out watching the game, and hopefully What would really be a great Father's Day present for me is if my kids are able to go down there, see a couple of the players, get a couple of autographs, and really enjoy the show. So no doubts you're doing your job. Great park. Saw Cal Ripken play a few times there. Hey, yeah. Yeah, he was the man when I was growing up with the Orioles fan. So being in the Richmond area, the Orioles were really the only there. So there were two teams. So the Orioles were the closest team because they were up in Baltimore, and the Braves were the local team because we were kind of in their market. Ted Turner owned the Braves, so TNT always played them um, on television, and also the local AAA team was the Richmond Braves. And so a lot of the folks and a lot of the players from that very successful Braves teams in the 90s were played in Richmond. There was a connection there. But that was the two rivals. And of course, there's me as a Reds fan, just would be delighted to just catch any game. Josh Brown, have to cherish those pieces of artwork. Yes, I've got a whole stack over here. And nice. Hope you have a great time. See De La Cruz. Yeah. I really want to see him. I'm hoping to see Votto, De La Cruz. I hope I get the full lineup. I hope nobody's got a night off. But want to see Votto, Stevenson. Still don't know, and maybe I should check up who's slated to be the starting pitcher. Green's on the IL, so I don't think we're going to see him. Maybe Graham Ashcraft. That would be cool. Or Abbott, who is from Virginia, played for the University of Virginia. That would be the coolest. If Abbott pitching, Stevenson catching, Votto at first, India at second, McLean at shortstop, Cruz at third, Steer in the outfield, Fraley, Friedel, Senzel. There you go. That would be ideal. That would be the ideal. And the kids get to see all of them, right? And we catch a ball, but we're going to be sitting behind home plate. Low. Last year when we went, we sat behind Gunnar Henderson's family. Gunnar Henderson is a hot prospect. This is really his rookie year. He struggled a bit at the beginning of the year, but he was doing great. And it was his home debut, and we were sitting right behind his parents and his girlfriend or wife, his significant other at the time. And I think his sister was sitting a couple rows up ahead. Like, we were around all the family members, and it was pretty cool. And we were there actually to watch the Orioles play and hopefully catch a glimpse of a player who is from my wife's hometown. That's Chad Pinder, who played for who got signed by the Reds but then cut. It was sad. There you go. Matt Felty said, I agree. Camden's a dope ballpark. It's just pretty. Same reason even though I hate the Cubs, I love Wrigley Field. Iron Man Cal, enjoy the game. Thank you. John Smoth, on Father's Day, I got to see my dad blow up at my brother because of a meme he had shared on Facebook. My brother is Orthodox and shared something critical of the solas. That sounds like orthodoxy. I've never heard yelling like that in church before. I've learned a lot about what not to do from that man. I can be thankful for that at least. Yeah. Look, and again, like I said, I got a lot of respect for the orthodoxy. A lot of Orthodox buddies who do a great job representing the faith to the world and to fellow Christians. We need to stop, even though we might disagree on things like the solas, on Eucharist, on some things. We need to remember our kinship and our love for God, and that we need to just remember that we are even at that point, we're still family. Hold each other accountable when we are doing something wrong, but memes need to be shared with people who can handle memes, and not traditionally the older generations don't handle memes very well. Memes are weaponized. They're not just for the lulz. Unless it was a leftist meme, because the left can't meme. We all know this. So, but what you said, learn a lot about what not to do. You know, like I said, my dad did a lot of great things, but I've learned a lot about what not to do from him as well. Just from the fact that, again, when you're in that role, you realize, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that, or maybe I'm not doing this right. You hope your kids handle it better than you, are better parents than you. So, what's your take on the mascot change a few years back for the Reds? I don't think it was us. Was it the Braves? I think it was the Braves. I think it was the Braves. Now at the Richmond ballpark, which we call it the Diamond, back when it was the Richmond Braves, you had to have this big Native American who looked like the Brave in the mascot in the logo for the Atlanta Braves, and he's kind of coming out, and this thing is huge. It's got to be a 50-foot by 20-foot statue. He's just kind of coming out over one of the walls, and that's gone. They got rid of that. That's not appropriate, apparently. Josh Brown, Camden Yards is such an awesome place. It is. I do like it. I want to eat Boog's Barbecue, but we're going to go to some cool seafood place. Boo. I don't understand you, and I assume you're insulting me. Meme I saw about a dad not getting Gen Z language. Yeah, well. Oh, it is? Okay. Josh telling me is now on one of the tobacco buildings in downtown. I gotta go see that. So anyway, so that's where I'm going to be, and so we will not be having a stream Monday or Tuesday night next week, because it'll be softball and baseball. And so we'll wind this down. And if I was a better streamer, Christian streamer, I would have great snippets of scripture to talk from, maybe some quotes from some of the church fathers, stuff like that I could point out and be like, look, this is what fatherhood's all about. But in typical me fashion, I like to do it off the cuff and give you my take from the heart, which, look, the heart above all is deceitful above all things, or above all things is deceitful. But speaking earnestly and from my own personal perspective, being a father is a deeply spiritual thing to me. And it's one that, like I said, I've been blessed with it more than once. And hopefully, I am taking this blessing and making the most of it and doing it as much in the way that God has commanded me as possible. And I know, and I can go down a list and think of all the ways that I'm not doing it right. Never think that you've got it all the way down pat. This is fatherhood, no different from from your regular Christian walk. Never think that you got it all down and you are hitting it all, because you're not. And you're setting yourself up for failure, and you're setting other you're setting other people up for failure. And that could be your kids, and that could be other people who are around you watching, other children around you watching how you're a parent. You never know who's paying attention in these things. It is a great great blessing. And it's one that we should understand, and give our parents grace, give our fathers grace for their mistakes, and give them high praise for the things that they've done right. All right, with that said, guys, we are going to go back to reading the Bible tomorrow night. Thursday, I'm going to be streaming as well. And let's do an off-topic Friday. Maybe we'll talk about some Audie Murphy, Nernath. Maybe we'll talk about some Audie Murphy or something. You guys bring me a topic. I don't mind talking about it. You guys set the tone. I just pick something out of the headlines to help catch the algorithm. Alias, I forgot to say, welcome to the show. You're forgiven for not having any of that. Just throw 10 Hail Marys. I'll go out and go do that with a football. So, look, baseball season is going very well. It's a good time, but there's other things that are weighing on me. Can we talk about Sabaton? We can, but like, how much are we going to talk about it? I don't listen to him enough to really just talk about the catalog. Maybe I start playing him in the background. Get them, look, Nernath, get them to compose an intro song for me for the show. I got stuff weighing heavily on my mind. I've got things that I need to work towards. I've got issues that I need to discuss, and I've got worries and concerns aplenty. But no matter what, I've got God, and thankfully, I've got my family as well. And right now, I got you guys. It's a lot. It's a lot to have. So thank you guys. Thank you, Nernath. Thank you, MR, Alias, Josh, MR. Wait, I already say MR? I did already say MR. Sorry. Blaine, John Smoth, always swooping in with great comments. Matt Felty, Yex. Woo. Scrolled up a lot. I'm trying to go. Emmanuel Osorio and Dresden. Guys, thank you for tuning in. Your comments are always great and welcome. They give me something to ping off of, and create more content with. Never be afraid to bring up a question or open up about something. But at the same time, I understand this is live and on the internet. In front of God and everybody. So I understand. But never worry about hearing something from me. I'm here to listen. I'm here to react. To everybody who was listening and just decided not to participate in the chat, whether you're listening to it in the car or something, whatever. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for giving me your time and attention. Thank your dads. Your dads are the reason you're here. Your dads and your moms, but your dads are the topic tonight. Dads are the reason they're here. And to everybody listening on replay, thanks for thinking enough of this to tune in after the fact. If you like this stream and you haven't subscribed to it, please subscribe, and give me a subscription. Please give me a like to the episode if you like this. And if you want to support the show, I don't want money. I don't want that. This is not a financial grift. This is a grift for influence and viewers. So if you know somebody personally who you think would benefit from this or would enjoy this, please share this with them and just pass the word around. Word of mouth is great. Word of mouth on the internet, awesome. So do it however you can, and I would appreciate it. With that said, like I said, tomorrow we're going to be getting back into the word, which is important. The word, and talking about that, and we will be back on track. But thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys had a great Father's Day. If you're missing your dad, or if your dad wasn't maybe the best in your life, I'm sorry. But hopefully you've got somebody in your life that you can look up to as a father figure now, and maybe growing up as well. But maybe you more than us appreciate that role because you went without, or you are without it now. And with that said, everybody, have a great night, and God bless.